Welcome everybody to the off-off Flatbush revival of the Battle of Brooklyn, a farce of two acts. A play written a quarter millennium ago to mock the first and largest battle of the American War of Independence. My name is Dylan Yates, and I'm the scholar in residence here at the Old Stone House. First, I want to thank the Patriot martyrs slayed on this hallowed ground for being such good sports about this. Second, I want to thank Kim Meyer, Mayor Madeline Wall, and everyone else who helped the Old Stone House live up to the charge of the site that it occupies. This is a place where many different peoples reflect on the past and future of Brooklyn. If you haven't already, please sign up for their mailing list and donate to support their programming. And I especially encourage you to check out the new contemporary art exhibit entitled Family Ties, a celebration of love, kinship, and belonging, curated by Jeremy Dennis, that features the work of 15 BIPOC artists engaging with their family experiences. The opening is this Sunday at 4 p.m. Third, I want to thank our dear friends from Hercules Mulligan, who are generously offering us the chance to imbibe local revolutionary history with their signature blend of rum, rye, and bitters in honor of Washington's favorite spot. Mulligan, like the purveyors of his namesake spirit, knew that having fun was an important part of revolution and remembrance. And finally, I want to thank my incredible cast, crew, and musicians, and you, the audience, for making my dreams come true. Thank you. The Battle of Brooklyn was the first battle of the War of Independence because it was the first battle fought after the United States declared independence from Great Britain on the 4th of July, 1776. When George Washington ordered that famous declaration that all men are created equal with unalienable rights, read aloud to the troops at the battery, a few days later, in view of British warships amassing in the Narrows, a group of patriots tore down the gilded statue of King George III at Bowling Green. Washington had tasked his old friend and comrade, General William Alexander of New Jersey, also known as Lord Sterling, to prepare the American defenses. MS-51, right here, is named for him. Sterling ordered residents of Brooklyn to build a string of forts between the mouth of Gowanus Creek and Wallabout Bay. Free men had to work 2 days a week building these forts. Enslaved men were forced to work 6. More enslaved people than free people lived at this house in 1776. Tom, Mink, and Neen, enslaved by Nicholas and Abigail Vecta here, probably built Fort Fox, which is today at Pacific and Point Streets, which they would have been able to see from this location across what was once a large salt mash and tidal mill pond on the Gowanus behind us. After giving the Americans more than a month to reconsider, 20,000 British troops finally invaded on August 22nd, taking Gravesend, New Utrecht, Flatbush, and Flatlands without opposition. 4 tense days later, the shooting began at 1 a.m. in Simon Bergen's watermelon patch on 36th Street and 3rd Ave. From his command center at Cobble Hill, Washington dispatched Sterling with 3,000 Continentals to confront twice that number of British regulars at the Red Lion Inn on the corner of Gowanus Road and Martens Lane, now in Greenwood Cemetery. And General John Sullivan of New Hampshire was dispatched with a similar number of troops to confront the Hessians at Flatbush Pass, now in Prospect Park. However, the British humiliated and outsmarted the Americans that day by simply taking King's Highway over to Bushwick and then back down Atlantic Avenue so they could attack Sterling and Sullivan's troops from behind. By 10 a.m., British troops under General Charles Cornwallis took this Old Stone House to use as a base as the fleeing Americans hastily lit all the bridges across the Gowanus on fire to protect downtown. Surprised and surrounded, Sullivan gave up immediately and tried to strike a deal. Sterling, on the other hand, quote, fought like a wolf, according to Cornwallis. Sterling personally led 400 Marylanders to charge this house over and over again, dozens of men falling with each push, to buy times for the thousands of other American troops stranded across what is now Park Slope so they could swim across the Gowanus. Once the bulk of the Americans were safe, Sterling led his men up the hill to surrender to a regiment of Hessians, despite their reputation for cruelty, to deny any British officer the satisfaction. The real Battle of Brooklyn was notable for both the stupidity of the planning and the heroic bravery of the Marylanders. However, all would be for naught had Washington decided to make his last stand at Brooklyn. Legend has it that Hercules Mulligan supposedly hosted a dinner in Manhattan the night of the battle, where patriots gathered to pen a note urging Washington to bring the remaining troops back. across the East River under the cover of darkness so they could live to fight another day. And scholars credit this first of many decisions to strategically retreat with the American victory 6 years later. The play you're about to see was written in the immediate aftermath of the battle and supposedly performed at the new King's Head Tavern Officers Club at Brooklyn Ferry. The anonymous author was likely someone who had helped the Americans in the battle, but subsequently wanted to assert his loyalty to the crown, much like the character I play, Sterling's attendant, Joe King. Joe King is your average Joe from Kings County who supports the king and is taken to Joe King. Occupied Brooklyn in the fall of 1776 was horrific. The British ransacked the homes of suspected rebels and sent sympathizers to prison ships in Wallabout Bay to freeze to death. But they rewarded loyal spies and accomplices with red armbands so soldiers would not know to harass them in the street. In this farce, Joe King seems to be trying to explain to an audience of British officers that whatever role he may have seemed to play in the revolution, he always knew it was a sham. Perhaps the more he mocked the American cause, the better the British would treat him. When I stumbled upon this play, I couldn't believe it wasn't better known. But then I read it. It was nearly unintelligible, but included amazing local details, as you will see. So I cut out confusing elements so the rest could shine. I also added a narrator for clarity, but I did not add or alter any of the words the characters say. This year we decided to add a new character, however, Billy Lee, Washington's enslaved valet. Despite Brooklyn being a slave society, and the British actively recruiting enslaved Africans to help them fight the rebels, this play is silent on the issue of slavery. Further, while Washington's biographers all acknowledge Billy Lee would have been at the Battle of Brooklyn, I have yet to be able to find any accounts or records about his time here, and I likely never will. So to acknowledge this history and add to the farce, we decided to add Lee, and we hope you enjoy the addition. And as part of this commitment to historical accuracy, since this play was written in wartime and performed in a tavern, we decided not to completely memorize our lines. And we will be reading from these reproduction scripts. I think this play is historically important and hilarious. It mocks the founding of a nation that many of us are rightly frustrated with. But it's also only really funny because the ideals of the American Revolution remain so strong, even if they are unfulfilled. I think the play reminds us also that deep and irreconcilable divisions have always plagued this land, and that sometimes wry creativity and a well-made joke can make a very bad situation just a little bit better. So please take a swig of Mulligan and enjoy the Battle of Brooklyn, a farce of 2 acts. Washington had befriended Sterling during the French-Indian War and made him a general as soon as the revolution began.
Joe! Honest Joe! Oh, damn the fellow, where could this king be?
Why, here, my lord. Devil damn me, sir. Pray, who do you damn so?
Oh, my dear Joe, if the cares that distracted split this poor head of mine.
Split? Yes, by heaven. Drank enough last night to split the head of an Indian.
Insolence! In the future, know me for your master. Your lord!
I must hold a candle to this devil. My lord, I ask your pardon. I meant no harm. You know that I am given to joking, and you formerly encouraged me in it.
Oh, forgive me, honest Joe. The public cares so hang upon me that they quite destroy my constitutional good humor. The British regulars are near to us, and every moment we expect them over the hills.
But your lordship has so long and so uniformly wished to meet them that I thought the nearer the prospect, the better you would have been pleased. You will no doubt split and roast and pickle these redcoat fellows.
Well, we are meant to meet this day to determine in council what to do with them. I am for surrounding. Surround is the word with me. If they were 20 times the number, I say surround them all. With these gripes, Joe, and my canteens are empty. Go to the commissary and get my canteens filled. And by all means, goodbye, good Joe. Be at home when I return.
Canteens filled, and then thy whole soul will be in thy canteens. That is, if he has credit enough with the commissary to fill them. And yet this most ignoble man is the chosen vessel to execute the Lord's work. Ill-fated country, when will this delusion end? General John Sullivan's attendant at Gowanus Heights, awaiting the British assault. Colonel Henry Remsen from Queens approaches.
Oh, heaven! He is wounded and out of his senses. Dear Colonel Remsen, can you speak?
Oh, dear God, what merciful escape I got this time. Gentlemen, have you seen my regiment?
No. Where did you leave it? Lord help us. How near is the enemy?
Oh God, oh God, oh God. Come the blood out of me in any place?
Blood? No. Nor can I see anybody coming after you. Your hurt, I fancy, is fear, Colonel. Your wounds must be sought for in your breeches. Compose yourself and tell us what has happened.
Well, I will tell you then. I was, yes now, on the head of my regiment, close up behind Sean Van Dienen's field. I keep my eye up the Aryan mortar sleigh. I see, just by the ground, something creep. I say, my regiment, take care of yourself, boys. They begin to run. My horse, he see the danger too. He carry me off. God know I get here. I believe the rest is all killed. Or taken prisoners?
Killed? No. Nor any of them hurt, except 4 or 5 that you rode over. Why, there was no British regular within a mile when you took flight. Oh, you ungodly coward!
Here we find Elizabeth Phillips Gates, one of Washington's most trusted generals, and her chambermaid, Betty, in a room in Brooklyn Heights. Loyalist newspapers reported that Congressman Benjamin Harrison procured prostitutes for Washington.
After council, ma'am, General Gates will wait for you. Till then, he begs your patience, as the time is near that he is to meet the rest of the generals.
Council? A pretty collection of councillors indeed. But since it must be so, you shall give me the narrative of Harrison and your general, my sweet chambermaid. It will beguile the time.
$50. And hard ones too. With the promise of 50 times as much was irresistible. But oh, the nasty beast! I almost puke at the recollection. Harrison is such a slobbering, odious, unsavory, smelly creature that I wonder how any woman in the world could sleep at night by his side.
And yet, you see, there's $50 hard made you put up for a night with all the inconveniency of bad smell.
A night? Your ladyship wrongs me very much. Why, Harrison snored within an hour. And the first snore was a signal for my retreat. I am sure I would have been a corpse if I had been obliged to stay the night.
And there your affairs ended with Harrison, did they not, Betty?
Yes, my lady, for when Harrison found I could not abide him, he proposed to introduce General Washington to me. The general was a very pretty gentleman, and I consented to it on purpose to get rid of Harrison. The general is the sweetest, meekest, melancholy gentleman. And then he is such a warrior. Oh, ma'am, I shall always love the general.
And among his other qualifications, the most liberal.
Why, my lady, I will tell you honestly, His Excellency gave me a $30 bill. He assured me it would have been more, but that he was obliged to repay Harrison the 50 hard dollars that he had given me first. Now, ma'am, is not Harrison a dirty fellow in every shape that you can view him?
Ooh, no great things, girl, to be sure, from your account of him. Neither is your meek, melancholy hero Washington, from my own observation.
Lord, Mum, did Washington not order the king's flame to be pulled down and the head cut off? For God's sake, Mum, what would you have of a hero?
My dear Betty, none but a little-minded barbarian would have suffered the odds to be trampled underfoot as he did in the case of the king's statue. Oh, dear husband Horatio, that you should sully your laurels in the abominable cause of Republican tyrants and smugglers in power. To be arrogant for such miscreants, it almost distracts me.
Here we find Generals Washington, Sterling, and Sullivan in council atop Cobble Hill, a command center so named because it was elevated by cobblestones. American troops built a line of forts from Wallabout Bay to Gowanus Creek in order to defend downtown Brooklyn.
Gentlemen, spies from Flatbush inform that the regulars are making a disposition to cross the hills near that place. Lord Sterling, with his usual intrepidity and precision, has reconnoitered their numbers, which he finds to be about 7,000. General Sullivan has appointed the hill with exquisite judgment, where the brigades under him and Lord Sterling are to act as occasion may require. 12,000 men are allotted for the service of sending them back to their ships. I, with 8,000, will stay within these lines, unless our present deliberations alter this plan of operation. My lord, the council expects your opinion.
I rise to give it to this most respectable and most voiced council of general officers that this, or any other age, has ever produced. I am for surrounding. And when we've got them hemmed in, I am then for sending them to our noble commander-in-chief. Who knows what to do with them?
Okay, this guy, a pompous, flimsy, drunken fool. His lordship's ideas are exceedingly surrounding. I hope the practice may be as easy in theory, and that their numbers may not exceed 7,000, but the council holds the opinion of General Washington and myself. Our deliberations are at an end, and we cannot be too soon at our different posts.
Well then, I am for my post. Gentlemen, farewell.
Now, a little sober reasoning, General Sullivan. My apprehensions from the king's troops, believe me, are trifling compared with the risk we run from the American people at large. The tyranny that our accursed usurpation has made necessary, I fear, will soon make them see through our disguise. Their rage, no doubt, will be heightened by the slaughter that will probably ensue. And we, as members of the Congress, will fall the first victims of it. Oh, Sullivan, my heart never consented to this ruin of my native country.
My dear General, the moments for reflection are elapsed and irrecoverable. You know what I mean? Our safety is first in conquest. If it is denied to our endeavors, I am sure we can obtain better terms from our much injured sovereigns than we can from our more injured country.
Our soldiers are a standing miracle to me. They resign their thinking to us in a case where their all is at stake and do not yet discover that we make them the engines of our power at the expense of all that is dear and sacred to them as men. Oh, Sullivan, my Sullivan, our hope is in you. Every command of ground is ours with a perfect knowledge of all the woods. These advantages double the strength of our men. If we cannot defend these, I know of no place we can.
All things that depend on me will, I hope, meet your approbation. I shall aim to infuse such sentiments into the troops that our next meeting shall be ushered in with greetings of congratulation. Till then, my dear General, farewell.
Greetings of congratulation. Could I congratulate myself on finding my lost peace of mind, on the restoration of my honor? Oh, cursed ambition, what have I sacrificed to thee? Whoa, hey, ho, ho, bless me. So late, and my engagements to a lady not complied with.
Here we find General Sterling and his attendant king in a position at Gowanus Heights at 3 o'clock in the morning. Hello, General Sterling, hello.
Whoa, whoa, oh, for God's sake, what's the matter?
Your lordship, there's been a great deal of shooting at the Red Lion Inn.
Shooting? Which way did it come from?
Bergen awakened me. He said there was a shooting in his field.
God bless me. Wait, shooting in his field? Was it near his house?
Very near, so I stole out, for I knew the road, dark as it was. Everything was still, as if nothing had happened, but I could hear the groans of dying men at a little distance. I have not heard or seen anything else.
Oh, so what are their numbers?
Well, there are not 50, or there would have been some noise.
Oh, damn it, 'tis nothing but a scouting party. Come, we'll take a whistle from my canteens. It's a devilish raw morning, and I must have something to keep the cold out.
Here we find Generals Sterling and Sullivan on a hill above Gowanus Creek at around noon. All morning, the British slowly pushed Sterling from the Red Lion Inn north along Gowanus Road, and Sullivan from Flatbush Pass east along the Port Road, and they have now joined forces.
Well, my lord, will you make a disposition for your favorite scheme of surrounding?
Oh, for God's sake, dear General, don't mention it. I did not expect them this way.
Let 4 brigades immediately take the post at the bottom and extend as far as the stone house upon the left. If they should force these brigades up the hill, we can easily maintain this post against the united forces of Britain without loss, and make retreat to our lines when we please, unmolested.
Ooh, the regulars are nearly up to them. You'll see. They will push direct to the General.
I see they do push, but it is with their bayonets and our men are scampering towards us.
Dear General, what shall we do now?
There's nothing to obstruct us in the rear, my lord. We will retreat in good time.
Lost! Oh Lord! Undone! Ruined! Destroyed!
Amazement. What ails this man?
In the rear! There, in our rear, the regulars! No retreat! There's no retreat! Oh, General Sullivan! General Sullivan, what do you think of it now?
I think that we heaven-born generals are apt to lead our troops to the devil.
But my dear General Sullivan, what shall we do?
Just do as you please. Every man is now his own general, so gentlemen, farewell.
Oh, Lord, incline their hearts to mercy. I hope that we are not of consequence to be hanged.
Here we find Noah, soon to be joined by King, in a room at Brooklyn Heights after the American retreat across the Gowanus Creek.
Notwithstanding your dirty condition, Mr. Noah, I congratulate you on your safe arrival into your own quarters. neither hold by musket balls, nor swelled up with salt water and creek mud. Thanks to my activity, I am not crab's meat with the rest. Welcome, Joe. Dripping from the creek, I see. But am I happy to see you?
Confirm that I really am alive, for I have my doubts about it.
Don't you know me then?
As well as I know myself, Noah, but are we not both in the other world?
Why then, look about you. You will find this to be the very room that we have inhabited for some time past. Behold, Joe, this pocket bottle. One half of its contents I prescribe to your conviction and restoration.
Well, now I return your congratulations, and I'm heartily glad to see you on this side of the grave. But Noah, what has become of our generals?
Killed or taken prisoners. But I suppose the latter. My poor General Sullivan. I quite lament him.
Mine is under the same predicament, but I have not a pity for Sterling. Nor should I love you very much if I thought you serious in your lamentation. For God's sake, Noah, how came a man of your understanding in the capacity of Sullivan's servant?
Well, without doubt, I might have started with the regiment and probably have been myself a general by this time. But I saw through their topsy-turvy schemes. Though I was obliged to float with the tide, I knew the post of honor would be the most private station. But Sullivan will be a loss to his family.
So will not Sterling. He will be a loss to nobody but those who find him. Had Sullivan any property?
Most excellent property, for he made the property of weakness and ignorance, and consequently had an extensive fund. But yours was an idle general, and I suppose very full of property. As he has often declared, he was full of principle.
His principle, Noah, has for years past to withhold other people's property from them. It's a maxim with this Congress at Philadelphia that by the marvelous, the vulgar are to be robbed of their reason. But heaven has rejected the sacrifice so that the people may open their eyes and no longer be the dupes of their tyranny, deception, and bloodshed.
They are indeed such monopolizers of liberty. Oh, almighty disposer of human events, open the eyes of my deluded fellow subjects of this once happy country. Encourage them to a free exercise of that reason, which is the portion of every individual, that each may judge for himself. Then peace and order will smile triumphant over the rugged face of war and horror. The same hand that sows shall reap the field, and our vines and vineyards be our own.
The end. Thank you all. That was the Battle of Brooklyn, a farce of 2 acts. I want to thank our incredible musicians. We have Mark Doss as Washington. We have Masha Bez as Remsen. We have Paul Carlano as Sterling and Lady Gates. We have Ray Jones as Betty and Billy Lee. We have Austin Kaufman as Sullivan. And we have Anna Maria Spy as Noah. Thank you so much. Enjoy some more mulligans. Subscribe to the Old Stone House. And enjoy the rest of the events at Battle Week.